Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this. It's my first live stream. Well, pretty much anyway. Yeah, I'm going to do some FME work today, and I thought I'd share it. I haven't really tagged anyone or broadcast this because it's the first time, and I thought, hey, I really just want to figure things out. So you're probably watching this as a recording, not live, but hey, that's okay. If you are live, I'm not even sure how I find where you are. So it says I've got 2 viewers, but is that right? Heck, I don't know how this works. Let me see. Anyway, so today I'm going to look at just a few small things in FME. I'm going to, just move that over there. I'm going to do a quick demo of an FME Server parameter with the FeatureReader because I've been trying to do something for an upcoming webinar, and I was having problems, and somebody showed me how, and so I thought, hey, what the heck, I'm going to pass that tip on to everyone else. I'm going to look at doing run to selected as well, and then if I still want to keep going, there's a CSV reading issue that I saw, and I thought, oh, I might want to test that just to show people and see if it's the same. See if I have that problem, and then let you know about it, I guess. So, yeah, hopefully this stream is looking good. Let me see. So what I'm going to look at first is this workspace. So what we're going to do in the future, hopefully, and I've got this coming up in a webinar in October, is we're going to do this idea called random acts of transformation. We're going to pick a transformer at random and talk about it for a few minutes, and yeah, just sort of explain what it does, give a few demos. I've got Dale lined up to present with me in October. So I put a workspace together to read a list of transformers, which I've got stored in a database, shuffle them about, pick one at random, and then I write back to the database to say this one has been set. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm reading from a database locally. I'm reading where transformer played equals no. I'm shuffling that around, picking one at random. Actually, the randomized sampling isn't set there. The randomizing comes in the feature shuffler, like so. And then the attribute manager says, okay, we'll take the one we've got and set played to yes, and write it back to the database with an update. And the key column is the transformer name. So if I just read that, run that workspace up to that point, I can read that data, and you can see we've got 512 different transformers that we haven't tried yet. I think there's a couple that are set to yes because we've already tried it out. I've just sort of been playing with this workspace. So that's why there's a couple there that say yes. Or actually they won't, because I've got a where clause in there. So we do that, we run it through the feature shuffler, and it shuffles all that up and picks one out. I notice there's a couple of different ways I can shuffle. Oh, that wasn't too slow, because that Fisher-Yates algorithm is fairly slow the way I've got it written. You can just do it way quicker, but it just feels like, hey, I'm doing it properly if I do a proper algorithm. So that's what I'm doing there. So I'm shuffling that data, picking one transformer out of that, picking the first one, I guess, and it's the SQS meshes counter, which would be quite horrendous to have that come up, and I'm like, okay, do we have an SQS system set up anywhere? Like, how would I demo that? How would I talk about it? Wow, that would be, it's not even the real transformer. SQS connector is the real transformer name now. So I would have to, yeah, that's just an alias now, I think. So I'd have to try and talk about this. If we were doing this live, what I'd have to do is talk about that, and I'd have to use an Amazon account to try and set that up. And that would be quite a challenge to talk about that and set up a demo. But that's not what I want to do today. What I want to do today is just show you how this works. excuse me, so we set transformer played to yes. And then we write it back to the database. And if we run this whole workspace again, we should find, well, let's just check that. Yeah, that got written okay. If we run this again, we should find only 511 transformers are read now because we've sort of cut that one out. We've done that one. Okay, so that's all great. The problem is I want to do this on FME Server. So I want to sort of publish this FME Server and run it online. And I'm going to create a HTML output just so it's a bit more bling, if you like. So we go to a web page, we hit the button, it does something funky, and then it spits out the transformer name from here. So that's what I'm trying to do. The thing is, if I'm going to just switch to FME Server. I got a very long password for that. Okay, so this is our demo FME Server. Let's see. So we have files and connections. So I want to write it through a resources folder. So I'm going to upload a workspace and run it, but that database, which is a SQLite database, has got to come to this folder somewhere. So like data, and do I have a mark folder? I've got an iMark folder, so yeah, that'll be me. So I'll just write it to there. So what we can do here, I believe, now can we get the path to this? I thought there was a way that we could grab the path. Let's see, what does that do? Share with others. Okay, I don't want to share it as such. I want the path to it. I thought there was a way I could find out what it is on here. Properties. Let's have a look at that. Okay, there we go. So this is the path, or the basic path when it goes there. And let's see, data. Mark. Do we get the same properties option here? Maybe I need to select it. You can tell I'm not that experienced with FME Server. Let's see, properties, here we go. So that's where I want to write it to. Shared data folder /mark. So I click OK, I come back into Workbench and I say, okay, now let's change this from that local folder to a shared folder. I don't think it really matters if it's a left or right slash, but I'm going to change it anyway. But that's not going to matter because as soon as I click OK, it says, okay, I can't find that database. It's not there. It says maybe it's an issue with format accessibility, licenses, dependencies. It's not. It's just it can't connect to that. It doesn't know where FME shared data resource is. So we're going to have to fix that, and this is what somebody showed me the other day. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set this. So I'm going to copy that, and I can go into my FME Server parameters. What was it we're looking for? Shared resource. Oops. Shared resource data. And apparently you can edit the value and set it to a local value in here. And now I can just say, look for that database, and it should find it because it is local to that folder now. So now it's still happy, and just to prove it's happy, I can rerun this again. And I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could actually edit the values of paths in here, especially setting the shared resource data folder to something locally. But it works, it's fine. So now I think what I can do, if I understand this right, is remove that. And it's not gone red, so we're good with that. Now I can publish this to FME Server. Actually, I should have done the same thing with the writer, shouldn't I? Ha! So I'm going to undo that so it's back to the local one. And what do we need in there? Actually, I shouldn't just have that. I should actually have. Okay, let's just go back to this. See, it's going to end up in the data folder. So what I'm going to have to do, I think, okay, let's do the properties again. See, I've never tried this. This is live streaming. Hey, I'm showing how it's done. But I've never tried this before, so I don't know quite how it's going to work. So if I change that to that's not right. It needs to be in here. Now I suspect this isn't going to. No, it's not going to like that because again it can't find. So what I'm going to have to do is open that folder up. I'm going to have to create a mark folder to match what's on server. I'm going to have to put my database in there. Where is it? There it is. I'm just going to move it into that folder. Undo this. Now redo it. Okay. So we got that. Did I name it right? iMark with an uppercase. Yep, that seems okay. So that should work. There we go, found it. Whew. Excellent. So now I can go to this, go into here, and put the same thing in there. And again, we should be able to rerun that just to make sure it's okay. Works fine. Okay, now I can go back to the shared resource data folder there, delete that, click OK. It's not flagged anything as red because it doesn't check it until I open it. So now, if I attach summary annotation, shared resource folder slash iMark dash transformer. Okay, perfect. So now I should be able to. Can I get rid of that? Hide, yep. Publish that to my FME server. And I'm going to put it in. I think I've got an iMark. There we go. And we're going to call it, I'm just going to call it RIOT, transformer selection, because we decided we're going to call this thing that we're going to do random acts of transformation. So there we go, random acts of transformation, transformer selection. And do we need to select the files? Yes, but where they're not. When uploading to repositories, okay. Perfect. See, again, I'm still learning FME Server, and this is really interesting. So I can upload my, where are we? I can upload my SQLite database, and it should put it into the shared resource folder. Click next. It's going to be a job submitter right now because I don't have an output to stream to, and I want to do that. I'm going to add an HTML writer. Ooh, there we go. So actually what I should do is, what do we get out of it? I should put a logger down there. It's not, oh, it's running the whole thing again. That's annoying. I thought it would just run even though it was yellow, but I guess I should have said something there. It's not finding it. What happened there? Failed to open database, SQLite. Okay. Oh, because I changed the folder. It shouldn't be running. Anyway, so I'm going to republish that. And it's got a logger. Did it republish? Okay. There we go. Okay, so it did that. The reason I want a logger in there is just to make sure it's working. So now I can go back to my main page on FME Server. There's the one I just uploaded. Click on that. So yeah, so the key thing there was whenever you go into the feature reader, and this is what I was trying to show, was that often you want to create your workspace with the feature reader, and then you need to change the source from being a local drive to a shared drive on server. And when we do that, it turns red because local Workbench can't find that location on server. So what we had to do was go into the shared resource data, edit the value, set it to that local folder, set it up how I wanted it, delete that value from there, and then it would work. I could publish it back to server and it will be fine. So I can run that now. Always look at the advanced. Don't think we really need that. I'm just going to run it. And what it should do is should pick a random transformer from that. It worked. you always got to wonder the first time you do something. So it picked a random transformer from that local database, updated it to say, yes, we've done this one, and wrote it back. So the logger is important because it should tell me what transformer it was, where I didn't because I'm not logging it in the right place. I should be logging it here because what's coming out of the feature writer isn't the proper data. It's only, let's just cancel that. It's only the summary that's coming out. It's not sending out any of the attributes. So that's why that didn't work. So I'm going to have to come back to here, go back to that workspace and run it again. Interesting. There should be a run button, shouldn't there? There we go, run. So we're running that, reading from the database, picking the transformer at random, writing it back out. And there we go. And now the logger should tell me which transformer it picked. It was the MRF 3D cleaner, which again, that's another one I'm really glad we didn't pick for a live demo because wow, that would be quite difficult to demo without having MRF installed. And I'm not even sure we sell that transformer anymore. It was an add-on transformer, and I don't even know if it's still available. So that was quite nice. We don't have that. Anyway, so it seemed to work okay. It ran from the local machine 2021.2 beta. That's the repository. There's my workspace. Let's see, we'll go through here. It should start reading from authored with the system encoding of Windows 1252. So this is one of the things that we're improving in 2021 and 2022. The encoding for things inside the workspace. So the workspace itself is going to be stored. I think it's going to be stored in UTF-8. Yes, recreating a workspace with the UTF-8 system will enable FME. So that to use the UTF-8. So that's what it's going to be like in the future. But I don't have any special characters that I think would be a problem. So yeah, so we're reading that. Let's see, empty factory pipeline. That means we finished reading it. Even though it says, or perhaps that means we finished readers, which we don't really have a reader. We have a transformer reading data, so that's probably why. Retrieve 507 features from the database. There's the feature shuffler, shuffling things about. Wow, it's showing me, I think, a bunch of attributes, one for every time it shuffles around anyway. So then it picks one at random. We've got the sampler should be there, and then it logs that feature, and it says, hey, that was the MRF 3D cleaner. We've done that. Set it to Y, and yeah. See, it's weird how sometimes it logs that before it actually gets around to saying sampled. And I think that's just how the order of things happening in the workspace. So that seems very odd that it would do that. Maybe the logger causes the buffer to be flushed before it's got the sample message. I don't know why that would be, why it would log that there. But anyway, it did, and then it wrote it out, and everything was good. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a HTML writer onto here, and yeah, I'm just going to add that on. I won't bother showing that right now because that's something you've probably seen before. If you do want to see that, then let me know, ping me a message or something, and we can show that another time. But yes, we'll use a HTML report generator. The interesting thing here is we're going to have to make that a separate thing there because the summary, when we write it, doesn't have that information. Again, it loses the attributes. I wonder if we can keep the attributes, or maybe change it to one per feature type on the output, and then we can keep that instead. But or maybe the summary report. Oh, there we go. We can keep that on the summary. So we can actually keep those attributes on the summary, and we can create a HTML report from that just says, hey, you pick this transformer. I'm just going to use some custom or text or header. It comes under header for some reason, and the text we could just do anything like the selected transformer is and we don't seem to have that coming out of there. Oh, I guess it comes out of here, so as a list, because I guess it could be more than one summary feature. So, and then yeah, we just add a HTML. Right, well, while I'm doing this, I may as well just get on with it and do it, and show you how it works. So I'm going to call it random transformation selection.html, and I'm not even going to run this locally to test it because I don't think that I should need to do that. So I'm going to publish that again. I'm not going to hit the republish this time because do I want to upload the data file? No, because I don't want to overwrite what's already in there. And maybe I'll reset the database later anyway. Change it from job submitted to job streaming, and we are going to write the output to the HTML streamer, and that should be that. So when we run this now, again, let's go back and just... Oh, I didn't rename it, did I? Because I uploaded it with a different name before, so I'm going to have to fix that. That wasn't so smart. So there we go. The workspace, is it picking that? There we go, data streaming. So I can hit the run button and it should stream the result out to us. Fingers crossed. And it seems to be taking a while longer than it did before. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Why is it still... Is it completed or running? Looks like it completed. Just didn't stream the results back, which is interesting. There's probably a reason for that. So it wrote it to the HTML output, but it didn't stream it. It's like some sort of riddle. It wrote the output, but it didn't stream it. Have I got something wrong in here? It's got content. Unless it was 0 content. Set a page title just in case. I can put another logger in. Well, in fact, I can take that logger out because I don't need it anymore. And put that in. So I'm going to publish that to FME Server. I'll call it transformer selection. Yes, we'll overwrite that. Stream the data to... Oh, it's streaming it to the FeatureReader as well. We only want it streaming to the HTML. I think that's the problem. I've had that before. That's just something to be aware of, I think, when that happens. So I should be able to just hit run now on that. And fingers crossed, it should, this time, it should stream the data to the HTML writer. There we go. The selected transformer is, and then blank, so it's not keeping that value. So something's not quite right working there. Additional summary report, transformer name, transformer played. Yeah, I can't figure out why it... Yeah, I would have to run this locally to figure out why it's doing that, I guess. Or maybe... No, I did put a logger in there, so I can go back to here and check the log. Again, this is more than I meant to show. I wasn't really intending to show a whole bunch of debugging going on in the server, but since we're here, I guess let's do that. Transformer selection. This is the one. So let's see where it logs that. So if I done that right, generator logger. That's interesting. It's not showing any other. Where? Oh no, there we go. Blank, blank. There is no value to what was written. So maybe that, for some reason, that's not gone through. I should have kept both loggers in there, shouldn't I? Just to make sure that it was actually doing something here, sending something to the writer. But it seems to be sending it to that table. It seems to be coming out okay. The logger should log lists, I think. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just forget that it's coming out of there and just assume it's going to work, because I mean, really, the only reason I've got to connect it to that summary output is, well, hey, maybe it won't have written anything. And I think I can be fairly sure that, yes, it has worked okay. So let's just do this. I know it's probably a bit of a cheat, but hey, I'm going to go with that. It's not like it's mission critical stuff going on here. 1508, that's the right one. Go back to server, transformer selection. Hit the run button. So, if you can tell, I've got my Hawaiian shirt on here. It's still a little bit sunny where I am in Manitoba, and I'm hoping that it's the last of summer and I'm showing off. Okay, so the selected transformer was the second order conformer. So if we ran this in the webinar that's coming up in October, Dale and I would need to place a second order conformer and say, what does this do? And then we'd try and make a demo out of it, which will be quite difficult for that one. But this is part of the challenge. This is what we're trying to do is I thought, hey, wouldn't it be great to make a video of every transformer? But then it takes a lot of work to prepare that, and it's not really that interesting when we do. And so I thought, hey, well, let's do it like this, where it's random, because then you can watch us online in the stream and it would feel like, hey, that's quite daring to do that. It would make it a bit more interesting. It would put a bit more pressure on the presenters to do stuff. Because I figure we should be able to talk about just about anything in FME just as it comes up. So could we talk about the second order conformer? Well, I guess we are going to find that out when we start doing this this game for real and picking transformers for real. And the plan is, we'll just pick a transformer at random, and there it is. Something very similar, by the way, some of our users did. I should try and find this video. If you look up the What's Up Wednesday on the community, which I posted earlier today in the technical forums, we have the What's Up Wednesday, like our weekly newsletter, goes under expert notes. So this is interesting to be aware of. One of the things that I talked about today was this video of some users talking about transformers at random. And so the guy on the left, Hamish, I think, was picking transformers at random and getting the other two guys to talk about them. Now, it was limited to a set of 5 different transformers because they were the ones in the FME trading cards for 2020. So we just picked those out and talked to them. So it wasn't completely random, but these two guys didn't know what was coming up. So that's what this workspace is all about. And I'll maybe tidy that up a little bit and just make it a bit more flashy to give a better result in the HTML. I'm going to save that with that backup. I guess it must have been an older version of Workbench that I saved it with. Okay, well, that's the first thing I wanted to show. The next thing I wanted to show was a question somebody asked at SAFE, and they had to ask our developers. And I thought, well, that's very interesting, and maybe we should demo that here. So what it was how can you have a workspace that's got multiple writer outputs? You change like one transformer, and then you hit the run button again. But if you've got caching on, it only runs that transformer you changed and only writes that feature type that was connected to it, which is often not that great because you want to write all of the feature types to the output. Otherwise, it's not a complete output. And somebody came up with an idea, showed how it works, and so I just wanted to demo that. So let's see, I've got So I've got to create a workspace that has multiple feature types, and I'm pretty sure this geodatabase has got one. And let's write it to GML. And I've just got this folder I write to called black hole, which it's like where all of my data gets sucked into it. So we're going to call it community.gml, and we're going to write it to there. And I think this has got lots of different feature types. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. Okay, so we could do all sorts of things with this. Like we could calculate statistics. So I'm going to calculate some statistics on the food vendors. What are we going to calculate it on? I don't know. There doesn't really seem to be a good statistic for that one, which is probably what I'm going to find here. There's no numeric values, which really... So I'm going to have to make some numbers up, I think. Oh no, there we go. Number of addresses in the garbage schedule. So I can put that in there and say, let's analyze the number of addresses and give me the minimum, maximum, and mean values for that. And so what I'll get out of that is, let me just run that. We'll have like a garbage schedule. We've got 6 different garbage schedules, and we've calculated the minimum number of addresses in each, which was 60, the maximum, which is 4770, and the mean, which is 2021. So we've got some things there, and I can just go into the schema on the output, change it to automatic, now back to manual, and I just added those in. And I probably don't want object ID, so I can clear that out. Okay, so I can do things like that. Well, you'll see in a moment where this is what I'm going to do with this in the end. Let's think of another transformer that we could do something with. Let's see, what else might we do with this data? Center address, URL, let's see. Okay, so I might just put an attribute manager down in there and say, okay, well, we don't need the URL or the object ID, so I'm going to delete those like so. Okay, so you'll see in a moment what we're coming to, what the point of this is. I'm going to run this translation, and I'm writing to a GML file. So if I open up a containing folder, community.gml, inspect it with the FME data inspector, and here it is, and it's got all of the different feature types in there. Let's say I change the this as well and say, well, okay, I want the sum of the addresses as well. Now we're going to have to go back into here and change that back and get rid of object ID again, which I guess I don't really need to. Okay, so the point is I made a change with that, and now that's yellow. So, and it's cached. So if I hit the run button on this, what's going to happen? Well, I think it's only going to run... See, now I'm not even sure if it did do that or not. I think the point was, if you just do run from this, because that's the only yellow item, that was the only bit that gets written out. And so when you look at the output from this, the whole thing is... Where are we? 2020. Okay. The whole thing just gets written as that single feature type. We've only got the garbage schedule because I just did run from this, and that was the only thing that ran. And somebody said, well, maybe I want to do it so that all of that gets written, and was like, well, how do I do that? Say I put an attribute manager in here, and I remove the object ID because I don't want that. How do I do a run from this so that this runs, nothing else runs, but all of the outputs get written? And the answer was to select all of those, then select that, and then we right click on these and do run to this. Run to selected, that was it. So now, normally it wouldn't write all of those if I just did run from where I'd made that edit, but because I did run to all of these, it should write all of those out. And if I go back into here and hit the refresh button, it should, yeah, there we go, we got everything out of that. Well, it's not showing me all of it on, oh, there we go, that's better. So the point there was that if I just make a change in one of these, and if I hit the run button, see, certainly if I just do run from here, it only writes that one feature type. So the idea is you pick all of those, you right click, you do run to selected, and it will only run the things it needs to write, but it will write all of the feature tables that were there. I'm just going to hit the run button again and see what it does, see if it does actually write everything. You know, I think it might have, which sort of surprised me a bit. Let me just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it seemed to write all of them. I wonder if, I thought if these were green already, maybe it wouldn't do that. Anyway, the question came up and somebody said, oh yeah, this is what you do. You right click and run to these selected, and it'll just write to all of them regardless of whether it's the only thing that's changed. So I wanted to show that. The last thing I just wanted to show today was something somebody mentioned, and I thought, well, that sounds weird. I wonder if that's true or not. So I wanted to just test something that somebody told me, and it was adding a CSV reader. Let's see, we'll be in the data folder. Let's see, I'm sure I've got some CSV data in here somewhere. Culture, no. Emergency, there we go, crimes. So somebody mentioned that. Well, that didn't seem to. Okay, that's not. I want to find one that's got a latitude and longitude value in. And I don't know if I've got one in it. Oh, GPS, actually, that's got walking trail. Okay. Latitude and longitude. No, it was more. Okay, so I'll mention what I'm looking for. Somebody said that if you've got coordinates in like a UTM coordinate system, if you read it in with a CSV reader, it automatically tags the latitude field as being a date time because it looks like a date time and it gets confused between those two values. So I just wanted to see if that really was true, that it really did do that. So I guess what I'm going to have to do if I want to do that is generate a workspace. Well, hey, I can do the community map, write to CSV. We'll just write it back to the GPS folder. And I'm just going to pick one of the tables to do that to. We'll just go with drinking fountains. And we should probably reproject that because I'm sure it's going to come in. Oh, maybe it's not. Let me just check what coordinate system that is. That is in, where's my feature table, info table, feature information, there it is. Oh, it's already UTM-83, well that's fine. So we just need to do a coordinate extractor grab the XY, and write it out to the drinking fountains folder with, let's see, again, just click to automatic, adds them in, run to that, open the folder. So there we go. We should be able to find that the drinking fountains for some reason it thinks this looks like a DateTime. I just want to see if this is true. It might not even be true, or it might be just be in a certain data. But the point was, if you add a CSV reader, drinking fountains, looked at the parameters, XY. Yeah, there we go. It says time. The X value is set to time. And I guess what it's doing is it thinks that it knows X isn't just a normal thing, so Anyway, so that's something to look for, I guess. If you're reading UTM coordinates into a CSV reader, it thinks it's a time value. And you can just fix that by going into here and saying, no, it's an X coordinate, and that's a Y coordinate, and that's a Z coordinate, and fix it like that. But by default, it thinks it's a date time. It's like weird. It looks like a time. So that can happen. I'm not quite sure what it thinks the time is there. 4:90 and 83 seconds. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But anyway, that's what's happening. I think it's fixed definitely in 2022. I mean, developers know about it, so it's probably going to be fixed. It's just a bit of a be aware that this could be an issue thing. And so if I click that and click OK, now it should actually read that because it knows it's because I changed the schema. Yeah, there we go. We get points. Whereas if I didn't change the schema, and that's another interesting thing that we should mention. I click that. Oh, look, it came up automatically as X coordinate, Y coordinate, Z coordinate, because it's remembering what happened before. And so if I go back to automatic, then it thinks it's a time thing. So this, it thinks it's time, not location, and so we're not getting any spatial because it thinks that's a date time value. And it should tell me in here string UTF unsigned integer. So yeah, it's thinking that's a time. So anyway, that was just something to be aware of. It's one of those known issues, and again, it's fixed in 22, sorry. So I think that was pretty much all I had to show you today. I'm not sure how long we've been streaming for, but hey, hopefully that was... I've got to keep looking away because I've got all of these different things. Actually, I wonder if I can write messages in the stream chat. If I do that, it should come up in... Because I've sort of got a workspace... If I just close those down, so we can't... Yeah, so you can see in the bottom, I've sort of got this Workbench sort of look and feel to the stream. They're just sort of extra windows. And if you type a message into there, so I'm typing a message in, it should come up in the window. So hopefully what you're seeing now is a little message that comes up in the bottom, and so it just sort of does that. Now the one thing I was wondering is if I do uptime, does that... There we go, it tells me I've been live for 50 minutes and 48 seconds. So so basically I will say that if you are interested in following these live streams, go to Twitch TV/Manitoba Mark, which is my Twitch name, and you can see there. Oh, hey, we're a stream in a stream in a stream now. That's going to look really funky. Some sort of Inception thing going on in there. But anyway, so go to Twitch TV. I wonder if I can paste that as a URL, because sometimes I can do it, but the users can't do that. So anyway, there it goes. So you might be able to find it there. Anyway, the point is go to twitch.tv/Manitoba Mark, click the follow button. There should be a follow button somewhere. And okay, I can't stand this. I'm moving my hand around and it's like taking, like it's moving in the distance at different. Oh man, no, that's just too weird. Yeah, so okay, so go to the Twitch TV, Manitoba Mark, hit the follow button, and anytime I go live streaming some FME stuff, you will get an alert about it. So yeah, so I'll be streaming stuff just in general about FME. I will be streaming that thing we're going to call random acts of transformation, which is just sort of pulling up a transformer at random and talking about it and what it does and demoing it. And we've got a live stream coming up at the end of October with the masked Reddit user. So that's Revit. Did I say Reddit or Revit? I meant Revit, a masked Revit user. So we'll be streaming that with a user of ours who wants to talk about Revit on a stream, and I thought, hey, I can do that, and we'll get some people at Safe to talk about it because I know very little about Revit myself. So yeah, that's coming up as well. And in October we've got other stuff coming up. Also, I don't know if any of you play Geoguessr. If you do, check out my profile here and sign up as a friend. If you friend me on here, I should have a few friends. Yes, so I've got a few friends on there already. And what we're going to do in October is I'm going to sign up for this pro account as a group plan. And we're going to have this. We'll have 15 or 30 members, however many FMEs sign up. So you can sign it with a free account, friend me, and then I'll add you to this group. This time next week probably I'll be doing that, and then we can play Geoguessr against each other and stuff like that. If you're wondering what Geoguessr is, well, hey, it's a big thing on the streaming community. So actually what I can do now is I can try and practice my stream managing by changing the title to Geoguessr. I can change. Can I change the category? I'm doing it on my phone. Yes, I can do that. I can change the category to Geoguessr and go with that. So you should see, if you're following this, even on the stream or online, you should see that change now. I've hit the done button. It should be there in a second. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I'm doing all of this, but I'm still figuring out this streaming thing, and there's a lot that goes on with that. So we should find now, and I would hope that it changes in the interface. If it doesn't, I'll be semi-annoyed. Yeah, where it says FME in the title on there, it should now say Geoguessr, and I don't know why it doesn't, and I'm going to have to figure that out and see. Anyway, so hopefully during the whole of October we will have a group of FMEs playing against each other, and what Geoguessr is, and I'll just show you now, is basically you get landed in a remote place somewhere on Earth, and you have to figure out where it is. And so I am somewhere in the UK, and I have to try and figure out where we are. So I may as well just stream this, just because, again, we're planning to do this in October, and it'd be fun for folk to see what we're doing. So you can play this like, oh, I can move about, or you can play it where you're not allowed to move. You're allowed to look about, but you're not allowed to move. Okay, so we're trying to figure out where this is in the UK. And you can do this in the UK or Canada or anywhere in the world, any country you like. Okay, so it says pay by phone 020. So I think this is London, and that certainly looks like it because we have a London style bus, London Transit on it, I think. So I know I'm in London. Anyway, so I can try and find this out. And folks, in future, because I'm going to save this as a video and I'm going to put it on YouTube. And so if you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, please do sign up. If you're an FME user, sign up for a Geoguessr account. Oh, no, it's an old guy walking along there. Okay, so whereabouts in London is this? I'm going to try and do this without moving from the spot I'm landed in, which is going to be very difficult to do, I think. Oh, thank you, Comrade, for following. Hi, Comrade. It's great to have you here. I'm just doing a Geoguessr here, and I'm somewhere in London. I'm just going to play the one game today, and I'm trying to figure out where it looks like. It sort of looks like South London to me, just these tower blocks. It doesn't look sort of like North London, like, I know London fairly well, even though I'm in Canada myself, and it doesn't, it could be North London, I guess. It doesn't look sort of like the centre of North London, like Regent's Park, Maida Vale, that sort of area, and that's a bit more posh than this. So I'm guessing this is South London, and because I'm trying not to move from this spot. I'm just trying to look around, which is probably going to bite me in the butt on the next on the next location. But I'm not going to be miles out. If I knew where the bus 196 went to, that would help an enormous amount. And if it said the borough that it was in, the borough of London, but it doesn't. And again, having moved to Canada, I haven't been in London for a while, so I'm trying to figure out from the phone numbers where we might be. I mean, it definitely looks like these are older buildings, but that's, yeah, I'm thinking south. I'm going to make a guess. I'm going to guess it's somewhere south of the river. I mean, yes. I mean, somewhere that's slightly older, perhaps. So it's got older buildings. So nice cars. Yeah, I'm going to say somewhere around Wimbledon. Let's just go with Wimbledon. So I'm clicking there. Okay, how far were we off? Oh wow, not too far. So it was more Selhurst, so sort of Crystal Palace area than Wimbledon. But hey, that wasn't too bad. 10k away. I sort of figured out, yeah, it was South London. It wasn't somewhere like Peckham or Brixton, which it looked a bit more upmarket than that. Anyway, so that wasn't bad for me. That's good. Okay, yeah, so this is going to bite me in the butt because I said I'm not going to move from where I'm landed. And now I'm landed in the middle of nowhere with no signs. Okay, rolling countryside. Let's see. Yeah, it looks southern. I'm pretty sure it's not it doesn't look like Scotland or something like that. It looks southern-ish to me. I mean, I could be totally wrong there. Trying to find, yeah, there is not a lot to go on here. Okay, I mean, it's a cereal crop. It's mostly arable around there by the look of it. So I'm going to say it's fairly far south. Yeah, rolling countryside. I mean, it could be somewhere in the Midlands or south of there. I mean, it does look like my sort of home area of Leicestershire. So I don't know if anyone's got if you've got suggestions, type them in, because I mean, it feels, yeah, sort of like Cotswolds or this sort of area that's, no, that'd be a bit flatter around. I'm going to make a guess, because what else can I do? I'm going to guess sort of around Northampton or just a bit south of there. I It looks fairly remote. So again, I mean, I could do this a lot slower and be. I'm just going to guess around here. Oh, it was up north. Wow. That was way further north than I realised. Huh. It was actually in Scotland. Hey. Just over the border, but it was up there. So, okay, well, lowland Scotland, I guess. Maybe I should have realised that. Maybe the buildings just look more solid than the ones down south. Well, hey. Can't get them all right. Okay, well, we're back to somewhere that might have street names. Again, I'm shooting myself in the foot by not letting myself move. It looks like a footpath there, so it's probably fairly rural. So we're probably sort of very suburban, not downtown. And these look like newer houses in sort of a housing estate. Ooh, with columns on. Ooh. Again, this is going to be like wild to try and figure out where this is. Yeah, if they didn't blur out the license plates, that might make it a bit easier, but they do. So, huh. Wow, that looks like a big flower in the tree. So I'm going to say this is fairly south again, although I said that last time and was totally wrong. I don't see any distinguishing signs here that are going to tell me anything. So I'm just going to go on the hunch that it's fairly well south. It looks like a suburb, fairly well off area with the columns on the buildings. Man, that's, yeah. But it's fairly rural because it looks to me like that's a public footpath sign. So, I mean, it's not in a very urban area. Probably a small to medium-sized town or village that's closest to London. Again, I mean, it's going to be a total guess. What Tring looks like, yeah, something like that. I mean, it's fairly small, but it's close to London. It's going to have these sort of areas on the edge of town like this, that we get the sort of small houses, small housing areas, small roads, but it's on a, oh look, there's even a canal. Okay, so let's just say it's around here and go with that, because I mean it's going to be that sort of thing, I think. Okay, we have to wait 10 seconds because I'm still using the free version right now. I'm going to upgrade in next week. Continue to the game. Okay, well, again, it was close to London, down south, on the edge of town. Yeah, I mean, it's that sort of thing, but it was just a wild toss-up there. So there we go. Round 4. Ooh, this looks, first glance, it looks, well, definitely, is this London? Oh, no. Bank Hall. Settle cars. Okay, so is this up north? 0151. Is that Manchester? Bank Hall Street. Oh, Liverpool. L20. Okay, yeah, Bootle. So Bank Hall Street and I wish there was a cross street. That'd make it really easier. Okay, so it's near railway station. Bank Hall. Okay, so let's look. 0151. I've got to remember that. Okay, oops, there we go. There's a Sandhills Lane. What did we... This was something Hall, wasn't it? Sandhills. Okay, but that's Kirkdale. I'm just going to follow that rail line and see where it ends up. Oh, that might be where it ended up. Oh no, there we go. Rice Lane, Walton. Coral Park. Maybe I'm going the wrong way. You never know. Anything along there? Fazakerley. One of my favourite musicians, this guy called Ian McNabb, and he comes from Liverpool, and he sang a song about Fazakerley and Wavertree. That's Aintree. I think I might be going the wrong way with these. It's hard to tell, but it looks more downtown than these. Michael North. Town Green. Oh, I think I'm miles out of town now. Yeah, we're in, like, nowhere close. Okay, let's go back down here. We'll probably find it's way closer. Morph. It would be nice if I knew a bit more about Liverpool and where that street was. Oh, man. I mean, it's right on. Oh, there we go. There's the railway line. We picked it up again. Brunswick. Aigburth, St Michael's. Okay. South Liverpool FC. Aigburth. There's the Aigburth Arms around there. Cressington. Hague House. Oh man. Every station except the one we want. Hunt's Cross. Was that it? No, Bank Hall. Ha! Okay, I knew it was a two-word. Halewood. Yeah, again we're getting out of town now. It looks... Oh, I see. It's so... Widnes. Okay, we're miles out now. Well, I guess we're miles out. I mean, it could be... Wow, they've got quite the... transit setup in Liverpool. I didn't realise. Birkenhead North, Bidston. Wow. Wallasey. New Brighton. Wow, I just don't know my areas of Liverpool. Again, I mean, West Kirby. It feels like we're too far out here. Okay, well, maybe I just have to try and... Rock Ferry, Bebington, Port Sunlight. Maybe I've just got to try and figure it out for something else. I really thought that, yeah, I'm just going to go and get that station and it'll appear and I'll be right there. But Fitz's Fish and Chips. Ooh, Brook Hall. Sutton, yeah, I'm sure that's miles out again. It feels more downtown, and it mentions something about Bootle, so that's why. Oh, right there. Oh man, how could we not even get that? Okay, so Bank Hall, that must be Stanley Road then. Okay, so this is the Royal, or what's left of it, and we should be able to say. Yeah, we're probably standing right on the railway bridge. Oh, wow, there's even the station there. So we are probably stood right outside the Royal, right there. That should be a good guess. Yay. 5,000 points, fantastic. So that... Whew. We on the last one yet? Or is this... Yeah, 5 out of 5. Okay. Oh, my. Okay, again, I'm sort of hamstrung by not moving about. This is definitely somewhere up north. Oops, so I moved a bit, I guess. Oops, didn't mean to, but... Birch trees, it just looks very high up there. I'm guessing one of these days I'm going to get landed in a place I know where it is already and can say, oh, hey, I know that. That would be really awesome. But for now, okay, so there's lots of trees, lots of mountains. It could be North Wales. I mean, it really could. I mean, it almost... Excuse me, I'm not really as well into trees as I should be to know which trees you get in Scotland. What the heck's that? A building? Some cows? It almost looks like a cow, but I don't think it is. I mean, I used to be a photogrammetrist and create maps looking down from aerial photos, but so I'm used to looking through trees to figure out what's behind them, but oh yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to guess this is Scotland, and if we're going to guess it's Scotland, well, it's somewhere fairly highland, because that is not a small mountain. It really isn't. And I would hazard a guess to say it's just north of mid-Scotland, sort of my old stamping grounds when I used to live in Scotland. Yeah, I wish I could... Yeah, I guess I'm playing the ultra pure version of this by not moving about, because yeah, that looks definitely dairy. It's not. It's got to be somewhere. I'm going to guess Scotland, and I'm going to guess it's somewhere sort of in the mid. Where are we? Sort of around here, I think, because we're looking at mountains in this area. So Comrie. Yeah, some fillings. Yeah, so so we got plenty of mountains around here. They look a bit big though, because these are Munros. But hey, I mean, you never know. I'm gonna guess here. I mean, it's as good as any. We're on a road. It's in the middle of some trees near mountains. What the heck? Let's go for it. Ah, further north. It's in Glenlivet. Ooh, my favourite whiskey. Whereas this is closer to Glenturret whiskey. If we're talking about whiskies, Glenturret is somewhere around here. But hey, I was 108 kilometres away. I guess that's not too bad. If I'd picked North Wales, then it really would have been a bit of a mess. I'd have been out of it then. So, yeah. View summary. Not my best score, probably not my worst. 13,136. And again, I'm just doing the free version. We're going to upgrade next week, so I will do more then. 13,000. So I was about 100 points under average, but that's not bad. It could have been worse. Okay, well, I think that's the end of my stream today. I've been around for a while. Okay, hey, I'm going to use the... because I can use these commands. I'm going to. Hey, an hour 15 minutes. Well, that's great. So thanks for everyone who was actually viewing, and thanks to Comrade for following. Hopefully I will be back online sometime soon. Probably, definitely next week, I think, to do a bit more geoguessing. But if anyone is a user of FME software, I'm going to be showing a few demos of that next week as well, more than likely. So, yeah. Well, thank you, everyone, for sticking around, and I'll see you another time.